Hello, this is Module 3, Investigation 3, using and interpreting function notation. So, number one, if A is the area of the square measured in a square inches and S is a square side length measured in inches, then square side length S and its area A is related by the formula. So, formula that we know is A equal to S squared. If we call this function g, recall that using a function notation, we can also write the g of s equal to s squared, where the a is equal to the g of s. So in order case, and then we can write the g of s equal to s squared. Use a function notation. Use a function notation to represent the do not calculate the area of the two different squares whose side and length are 3.5 inches and then 26.92 inches. Okay, so in order to get an area, so area was g of s, which is one of the side is 3.5 inches, so that's one of them. And another area, which is g of s, which is a side length is 26.92. All right, so this is actually the meaning of the area of the when side square, when side length is 3.5 inches. Letter B, interpret the meaning of the g of 49 equal to the 24.01. So in this case, okay, so which is, we just need to read out the what's the meaning of in sentence, okay? So the area of a square is 24.01 is 1 square inches when the side length of a square is 4.9 inches. Okay, so that's a full tense. So what does it mean to solve the g of s equal to 81 for s? Don't solve yet, but don't explain how to solve for s. Instead, explain what the solution would represent. So the solution represents the side length of square when the area of a square is 81 square inches. Okay. All right, so now solve for s. So solve for s means g of s actually represent the s square here. So if you look at here, g of s represent the s square, right? So I'm using the substitution as the s square equal to 24.01. And then so for s, you need to put the square root on and becomes about 4.9 inches. But we only take the positive s though. Now, explain what each of the following represents. So since g of 5 it means the area of the square, so this is about the sum of the area of two squares. Okay, and then which one square has a side length of 5 inches and the other square has area of 23 square inches. Okay. Now number 2. Okay, when you explain it, you're gonna have the area of the square that is also 4 times as large as the area of square. With a side length of 3.4 inches. Okay, so I don't have a space to write, so please listen carefully. Okay, so this is area. This is the whole thing is about area. This is the whole thing is about area. So area that is 4 times as large as the area of the square. And then the side length of the square is 30.44 inches. Okay. So F, if the square side length is as increases as a constant rate of the 3 inches per second, where t represent the number of the seconds since the square side length has started increasing, what does the 3t means? So the 3t means actually the square after t seconds has elapsed or passed. Okay, what does the 3t square? So what does the 3t square represent in this situation? So this time, the area when the side length has begin. Let me apply this one. Has growing for t seconds. So area of the square with the side length growing in t seconds. And then also the 3t square, same as 9t square, which is 19 square is meaning of the area of the square when the side length has been growing for t seconds. So this is all about the area. And then if you look at the number 2, the given table represents the retail price in dollars for the brand new Toyota Camry as a function of the number of the years and after 2000. What is the input quantity? So input means, so let me use another color here. So these are the input and this is output. Okay, so whatever function you have, you put the input and then output comes out automatically by the input. So number of what is the input? This is going to be the number of after 2000. What is the output? Which is the price of a brand new Toyota Camry in dollars. Okay, as you notice. And then evaluate the f each of the following and describe the meaning of this contents. So f of 7. So this is meaning of the price of the brand new Toyota Camry, which at 2007, right? So when you look at the 7, which is 2007, it's meaning of $19,925. And then f of 13 means also it means the price at 2013, right? Because it's we started the counting from the 2000. And then the price is actually 2013 says 21,985. Okay, so you can just look at this one, right? And then 7, you look at this one. And then so for n, now f of n equal to 19,295, which is this problem meaning of we're looking for the number of year when the price is 19,295. So when I'm looking for the 19,295 is right here, and that means it passed the number of the year becomes number of the year is 5, which means it's a 2005. So we are looking for the number of the year. and evaluate each of the expression and describe the meaning of this context. Okay, so we're looking for the difference of two price. Oh, sorry. Looking for the difference of two price of the brand new Toyota Camry when 2006 and 2003. And then number 2 is the sum of price of two cars, which is a car means a brand new Toyota Camry. One of the car is 2003. The other one is the sum of the adding the another price. Oh, not really. Sorry. This is not what I mean. Okay, so this is actually the price of car at 2003 and added it additionally and 1,250 from that car. And this is actually the ratio of the two cars at 2006 and 2005. So it's kind of comparison, right? Okay, let's look at another page, which is in number 3. We kind of talked about this problem earlier investigation. So Taurus and Hare are competing in a race around 400-meter track. The Aragon Hare decide to let the Taurus have a 225-meter head start. When the start gun is fired, the hare begins running at a constant speed of 5.5 meter per second, and then Taurus begin to crawling at the constant speed of 2.0 meter per second. Let T represent the number of the seconds since the start gun was fired. We are interested in determining who won the race. So the other case was the Taurus was the one, right? Because it takes the last seconds. So A, illustrate the situation with a diagram. Okay, and then so let's draw this. So there is the track that these two guys run. And then there's a Taurus here, there's a hare here. So the hare is running all the way to 400 meter. And then the Taurus already gone for the 225 meter. So he only need to go to 175. He need to only go to the 175, right? So Taurus is right here to get ready for run, right? And then here's right here. So, and then that's it. So and then the Taurus runs at the distance he goes is distance is 2t, and then for the hares his distance is 5.5t. All right, B. Define the function g to represent the Taurus distance from the finish line in terms of the number of the second, and t since the start gun was fired. So this g of function represent the distance, Taurus distance. So Taurus only need to go to 175, but each second he goes to 2 meters, so it's a 2t. And then define the h function is for the hare's distance, and from the finishing line in terms of the number of the second t since the start gun's fire. So hares need to go 400, but each time he goes to 5.5 seconds. And then evaluate the g of 40. Say that what answer you represent. So which is g of 40 means you plug in 40 into the g function, which is 2 times of 40. And then you got 95. So meaning of the 95 means that he still need to go to 95 meters to get the finish line. And then g of t equal to 80 means, which is g of t was 175 minus 2t equal to 80. And then when you solve for t, it becomes 47.5. And this problem means, okay, when he has a distance from the finish line to the where the torus is still 80 meter. So which is when he gone for the 47.5 seconds. And then solve the h of t equal to 0, which means 0 equal to 400 minus 5.5t. So for t, and t becomes 72.727 seconds, which means when the hair reached to the finish line, it took the 72.727 seconds. So construct the graph of g and h on the axis we have here. Since we have so this is I want to say the seconds, and this is distance. So for the g function first, g starting from the 175. So 175, so 160, 170 about here. And then in order to finish his time, which is, I can use when g equal to 40 to 95. So when 40, it's about 95, 80, 95 here. So if you're going to connect them as a nicely as a line. Okay, so let me straight to go to this. Okay, so about here. Okay, so this is the g functions. All right, now I'm gonna use another color for the hairs. So hairs need to go to 400, and then when he finished the race, it takes a 72.727 seconds. Okay, so this is actually the where the sorry, it's not easy to get it. Okay, let me try it again. All right, so let me try. So here to connect it nicely. Okay, so this is how it is. So as you notice, okay, so this is h of t functions. So now the h, evaluate the h of 20 minus g of 20. So it was 20 seconds, okay, so about here to about here, right? And then we're looking for the how much is actually for each other. So this is the distance of, so h of 20 subtract g of 20. When you plug it in, of the g20 in the h function and 20 in the g function, again 290 minus 135, which is 155, which means distance between hair and torus is 155 meters. And define the new function of f, where the f of t equal to ht minus g of t, and then graph the function on the axis part g, so which is f of t becomes h of t minus g of t. So h of t was 400 minus 5.5t, subtract the g of t was 175 minus 2t, and then it becomes 225 minus 3.5t. Okay, so when you draw this by the black color maybe, so from the 225, so less than 30, and then the 225, and then it takes us 64.4. So it's about here. So when you are connecting it, comes down here. So this is becomes the f of x, f of t functions. Okay. All right. And then j. What is the slope of the f? So slope is gonna be the h of t was. No, sorry, g of t. What am I talking? I mean the f of t. So f of t was 225 minus 3.5 t. So slope is going to be 3.5 because every second the distance between the torus and hair is going to be decreased by 3.5. What does this value represent the context of the situation? Yeah, that's what it is. And then how does the distance between torus and hair change throughout the race? So the distance between and hair and torus decreases at a constant rate of 3.5 meter per second. Okay, now K. Solve the g of t equal to h of t. So h of t was, g of t was 175 minus 2t, which is 400 minus 5.5t is the same as h of t. And then when you solve for t, which is 225, so t equals 64.286. So it will take the 64.286 seconds when the distance between the torus and the hair is 0. And then who won this time? The hair won. Okay, the race. Okay, let's go to number 5. A pet was driving across the flat plains in Kansas with his cruise control on his gas gauge broke. At the moment the gauge broke, he had 8 gallons of gas. In the car tank, his gas mileage was 32 miles per gallon. Assume that he maintains this gas mileage by leaving cruise control on. Pat needs to keep track of how much gas is left in his gas tank. So how many gallons remain in the gas tank after he has driven? So 84 miles. So 84 miles. So since he gas gauge broken, so 84, and then divide by 32 because he has 32 per gallon to spend, and then so we have 84 miles to been driven, so which equal to the 2.625 the gallons left. Okay, which means the car has already 8 gallons, subtract the 2.625, and then becomes a 5.375 gallons left. Okay, number 2. Now, what about 150 miles? 150 miles divided by 32, which is 4.6875 gallons spent, which is from the 8 gallon to subtract 4.6875, which equal to 3.3125 gallons left. X miles since this gas car broken, which is x over 32. So in order to find the remaining gas is 8 minus x over 32 gallons left. Remaining were left. So if the x represents number of the mile Pat has driven since his gas gauge broke, define a function f determine the number of the gallon left in his car's gas tank, which is 8 minus x over 32 gallons. Okay. All right, let's do the next page. Okay, so what is the domain of f? So the domain of the f means it's about how much is the miles he can go to. So if you actually, he only has 8 gallon, and then multiply by 32, actually miles he can go to 1 gallon, and then he can go to the 256 miles. So he can go from the 0 miles to the 256 miles. What is the range is? Okay, the range is you plug it in, which is this is the number of the gallon, which is he can use the 0 gallon to the 8 gallons because that's the only the gallons left in the car. And then what does f of 100 represent? So 100 means, okay, there is the number of the gallon remaining in the tank after having driven for 100 miles. And then construct the graph of f of the axis. Okay, so at the 0 miles, there were 8 gallons, and then the 256 gallons left. Okay, to drive for the 8 gallons. So this is the lines you can get through this the point. Okay. All right, and then the f. Explain what's the graph of f convey about how the number of the mile Pat has driven since his gas gauge broke on x and number of the gallon has gas left in the past tank. F of x change together. So which means the number of miles driven increases from 0 to 256 miles. Then the number of gallons, of course, is decreasing because it's remaining decreases from 8 gallons to the 0 gallon. What is the value of f of 0? Which means when driven 8 miles, 0 mile, sorry, 0 is inside says 0 mile, and there are 8 gallons of gas. What is the value of x when the f of x equal to 0 this time? Which means when there is 0 gallon left in the tank, and then Pat has driven for 256 miles. So what are the maximum minimum value of that f of x assumed in the context of this situation? So what we can do is the horizontal intercept, which is 256.0. That means 256 represents the maximum distance Pat can travel with 8 gallons of gas in the tank when the gas gauge is broken. All right, and then that's all for the 3.3. Thank you for listening.